Hi Nia, how are you? How are you holding up?
I don't have any comment right now. I'm sorry.
There's nothing that you want to say. I mean, are you guys working things out?
That you didn't know that you were such a sex symbol. I'm really sitting here like, how did you not?
I mean, like I didn't know that then. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, like back then, what I was doing, I'm 5'8", I was 260, skin bad, I wasn't drinking water, my diet was Waffle House and Cristal.
Word on the street is getting seriously out of hand right now. Rumors are flying that Ime Udoka allegedly dropped Jeezy's private tape into some group chat, and from there, everything spiraled fast. The second Nia Long reportedly found out, the whole situation flipped upside down. People are saying she was completely shattered, and this drama hit way harder than anybody saw coming. According to The Buzz, she didn't sit around or waste any time. She allegedly went straight into full protection mode and moved fast toward filing for full custody. No delay, no second guessing, just straight action. But here's where things start looking extra suspicious. The timing has people seriously raising eyebrows because just when it seemed like Nia was finally finding some real peace, focusing on healing, co-parenting, and keeping life steady, chaos came crashing right back in. His name suddenly gets dragged into fresh controversy, and now her whole vibe has reportedly changed completely. This isn't about keeping things calm anymore. It's full defense mode now. It's looking like she's making major moves to lock everything down before another shocking situation explodes. And honestly, people are watching this unfold very closely.
In other news, Nia Long is filing for full custody of her son with Ime Udoka. I never say this man's name right, but y'all know him.
Yeah, I think you got it pretty close.
Right.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, him. So she is now looking for full custody because Nia Long, she ended her engagement with him after news broke that he allegedly cheated with her a fellow Celtic staff member. And according to reports, Nia is now looking for primary custody of their 11-year-old son, Kez, saying that he does not take care of.
She already put it out there for the world to hear. They were supposedly in a much better place. She openly talked about how they had reached an understanding, how they were able to travel together with their son, and how everything had matured enough for them to focus on putting their child first. On the outside, it sounded like real closure, like one of those rare, messy situations that somehow turns peaceful over time. But if you really listen closely, there was something deeper in how she said it. It didn't fully sound like freedom. It sounded careful, controlled, almost like she was keeping certain feelings locked down just to maintain stability instead of truly moving on. And that type of calm can crack fast when new pressure hits. And clearly, something major just did. Then things took an even more shocking turn. Instead of talking about dating again or embracing a fresh chapter, she reportedly revealed that if she ever even considered something casual, like a one-night situation, she'd need NDAs involved just to feel secure. That's not carefree, single-life energy at all. That's somebody moving like their private life could become public drama at any moment. And when someone starts thinking that way, people notice. That usually signals trust has already been shattered on a serious level. That's not simple caution, that's lived experience speaking loud and clear. Now, when you connect all of that back to what allegedly went down with Amy, it starts looking even heavier, because this wasn't just basic relationship drama or ordinary betrayal. People are side-eyeing the whole situation like it cut much deeper, hitting personal trust in a way that leaves lasting scars. And that changes everything. We're talking about someone Nia actually knew personally, someone who was reportedly close enough in her circle to help her get settled in Boston. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, that very situation allegedly exploded and tore her relationship apart in the most public way possible. That's the part that really cuts deep. She reportedly didn't even get a private warning first. No personal conversation, no respectful heads up behind closed doors, nothing. Nia Long was allegedly hit with the same chaotic headlines, rumors, and non-stop public drama at the exact same time as everybody else. Just imagine that level of shock. Everything reportedly spiraling out of control before she even had a chance to process what was happening. That kind of public betrayal lands differently when the whole world is locked in and watching every move. And what really had people paying attention wasn't just what she said, it was what she didn't say. When she finally reappeared publicly after the breakup, her energy reportedly spoke volumes. She kept things short, polished, and emotionally distant. No drawn-out explanations, no desperate attempts to fix the narrative, just pure, quiet separation. But that silence, it was loud. No ring, no public reassurance. No signs of someone fighting to hold on to what was left. That kind of energy doesn't come from confusion. It comes from somebody who already knows the chapter is completely closed. That level of silence sends a message. It gives finality, like she had already accepted there was nothing left to repair, no matter how much noise surrounded the situation. Meanwhile, Ime Udoka's energy reportedly didn't exactly come off the same way. Even more recently, people have noticed moments where his reactions seemed tense, frustrated, and emotionally charged. From public appearances to heated post-game situations, there were clear moments where that pressure looked like it was still very real. And when that kind of unresolved energy keeps showing up, people are always going to ask questions.
Kick out of it because it just means that I've contributed something to the culture that is comforting, that is inspiring, that's sexy.
Are you dating?
Well, I'm not as exciting as the rap songs, I can tell you that. The new way of dating is so, I don't even understand what's happening. First of all, if I text you and you take a day, I'm never talking to you again. I'm never talking to you again. Make a plan or go away. No one has time for temperature check.
Now on its own, that situation might not seem huge, but when you line it up next to everything else, it starts telling a much bigger story. Suddenly, it's looking like two totally different emotional worlds are unfolding. One person appears focused on staying grounded, composed, and fully in control, while the other reportedly keeps showing visible signs that public pressure may still be breaking through. And just when it seemed like Nia was finally closing that painful chapter for good, things allegedly took another surprising turn. Out of nowhere, Jeezy's name starts circling around hers, not in an obvious way, not overly direct, but just enough to spark major conversations and get people seriously paying attention. Then came that interview that really got folks talking. People started picking up on a certain energy, a certain vibe that had social circles buzzing. And when Jeezy himself reportedly acknowledged that he did have interest in her, but was trying to remain respectful at the time, it only turned the volume up even louder. But then came the statement that really had people locked in. When he said, "Real men don't cheat," that line reportedly landed hard, because honestly, to many people, that didn't sound random at all. It felt intentional, like a subtle but powerful message connected directly to what Nia had already been through. For a lot of observers, it suddenly started looking like this could have been the beginning of something new for her, maybe even a fresh start with someone who seemed more stable, more grounded, and more in line with the kind of peace and respect she may have needed after all the public heartbreak. And that possibility alone had people watching very closely. But then everything reportedly started shifting, and not in some quiet, subtle way either. The entire conversation around Jeezy suddenly flipped fast. Public attention allegedly turned in a completely different direction, and people started digging deep into his past all over again. Old rumors that had been sitting silent for years suddenly got dragged right back into the spotlight. And the timing? People couldn't help but notice it seemed to happen at the absolute worst moment possible. A long-time controversial story began resurfacing with claims from someone who allegedly knew people connected to Jeezy during a past period of incarceration. According to those reports, accusations were made involving someone tied to his personal life, with speculation about hidden relationships and a so-called double life. Now, this is where things reportedly became extra messy. These rumors have repeatedly resurfaced over the years, never fully disappearing despite previous denials. Every time his name trends, certain old claims seem to get pulled back into public conversation, whether verified or not. But it's also important to note that Jeezy directly addressed these allegations in the past. He publicly denied the rumors completely and made his stance very clear. He reportedly stated that the speculation was false, rejected claims about his personal life, and shut down the narrative as untrue. So while social circles may continue revisiting controversial stories, Jeezy himself has already spoken on the matter. And when old accusations keep getting recycled despite direct responses, it only adds another layer of chaos to an already complicated public image. That's exactly why this situation keeps pulling attention whenever his name surfaces. He even reportedly questioned why people seem so determined to twist the narrative into something bigger than it was. From his perspective, it wasn't about truth. It allegedly felt like people were trying to create drama where none existed. So now, once again, two completely different sides are clashing hard. On one side, old rumors keep resurfacing and refusing to stay buried. On the other, his past denials are being pulled right back into public discussion like the controversy never fully faded. But here's where things reportedly get even more uncomfortable. Somehow, Ime Udoka's name starts slipping back into these conversations too. And now people are beginning to connect dots that weren't even being questioned before. Suddenly, social circles are asking bigger questions. How are these situations allegedly overlapping? Why are these names crossing paths again? Was something discussed privately? Did information leak that was never supposed to go public? Or is this simply one of those explosive moments where too many powerful circles collide all at once? Because when you really look deeper, these aren't always random, disconnected worlds. These are public figures, industry spaces, and overlapping networks where people often move in similar environments, attend similar events, and share mutual connections. And when information starts moving through those kinds of circles, it rarely stays contained for long. News spreads quickly, rumors evolve fast, conversations shift before anyone can fully control the narrative. That's how situations can spiral so rapidly. One piece of speculation can bounce across multiple spaces, reach unexpected audiences, and suddenly become much bigger than anyone originally intended. And once that momentum builds, stopping it becomes nearly impossible.
Are you guys working things out? All right. Is there any chance of forgiveness, Nia? All right, best of luck to you, Nia. Best of luck. Bye, thank you.
What was going on? What did you see out there on the floor that you was disappointed?
Missed calls, blatant missed calls right in front of you. You're calling ticky-tack, moving screens, and little shit like that, and then you don't want to call the obvious ones right in front of you. So that was it. Alpy got fouled a few times on that drive and on the layup, and they don't want to call it. And so get some fucking glasses, open your eyes.
So if anything involving Jeezy's situation was allegedly being discussed within those overlapping circles, it really wouldn't take much for that information to travel fast. And once those conversations reportedly connect back to Imi, it becomes only a matter of time before everything circles right back to Nia Long again. And that's exactly why her shift reportedly hit people so hard. It didn't look like someone simply moving from pain to peace. It looked more like a major transformation, from trying to heal and move forward to making absolutely sure nothing else could disrupt her life again. That kind of dramatic switch usually doesn't happen without serious reason. It often comes from realizing situations may not be as fully closed off as they once seemed, that there could still be moving parts, unresolved tensions, private conversations, and lingering risks connected to people who were once deeply trusted. And most importantly, there's still a child at the center of all this. That alone changes everything. When family protection becomes the priority, public perception can shift very quickly. Then when you add in the fact that Jeezy has publicly opened up in the past about personal struggles, painful life experiences, and deep-rooted trauma that shaped parts of his journey, it reportedly brings even more public curiosity into the mix. More interviews, more scrutiny, more people digging deeper, more speculation building from every angle. And once that level of attention intensifies, it rarely stays focused on just one person. It starts expanding outward, pulling more names, more past situations, and more public narratives into the spotlight. That's when things can reportedly become uncontrollable very fast. One controversy can quickly turn into multiple headlines. One rumor can multiply into countless new theories. And suddenly, everyone even loosely connected starts facing public questions, heavy scrutiny, and non-stop analysis. That's how quickly situations can escalate when multiple high-profile narratives start colliding all at once. And once that machine gets rolling, slowing it down becomes a whole different battle.
How did you feel when the internet said you was trying to holler at Nia Long by any means necessary?
They wasn't lying. It was not lying.
Right.
You said real niggas don't cheat.
They don't.
I don't know. They don't
Hold
cheat.
on.
She said really? You said, hell no.
But I went was real men. I never cheated. Not like that. No, I don't cheat.
What you mean not like that?
I'm saying like that's low-hanging fruit. If I'm locked in, I'm locked in.
Now look at it from Nia Long's perspective again. If all these conversations allegedly keep circling back, and names she may have thought were firmly in the past continue getting pulled into fresh drama, then of course her mindset could shift fast. That's not paranoia, that's pattern recognition. It's about seeing firsthand how quickly old situations can resurface, how fast narratives can spin out, and how easily deeply private matters can suddenly explode into public chaos. And honestly, that could explain why her energy now appears more guarded, more strategic, and far more controlled. Once someone has witnessed how messy things can become under intense public scrutiny, they often stop simply hoping for peace and start actively securing it. That means thinking ahead, protecting personal boundaries, cutting off potential risks before they even have the chance to grow into something larger. Meanwhile, Jeezy reportedly remains in a position where nearly anything tied to his name can get amplified overnight. Past interviews, old rumors, previous statements, it all can be dragged back up and re-examined like it just happened yesterday. And whether those stories are accurate or not doesn't always slow public speculation down. Once people begin connecting dots, social conversations can move fast regardless of facts, often building momentum on perception alone. Then there's Emi Udoka, whose name reportedly continues surfacing in these discussions too. Even without directly addressing every wave of conversation, his connection to past events keeps him linked to the broader narrative. And that's exactly what makes this whole situation feel so layered. It doesn't always come across like a cleanly closed chapter. Instead, it feels like there may still be unanswered questions, overlapping stories, and unseen dynamics that keep public curiosity alive. Because when multiple high-profile narratives start crossing paths at once, confusion builds quickly. And confusion, that keeps people watching, speculating, and digging even deeper. It keeps the speculation alive, keeps the theories stacking up, keeps that pressure sitting heavy in the background, with people constantly waiting for the next major twist to drop. And the reality is, none of this reportedly exists in isolation anymore. These public narratives have started blending together, feeding off each other, and growing into something far bigger than any single situation standing alone. That's exactly why everything feels so intense right now, because this isn't just one controversy being discussed, it's multiple timelines, public stories, and personal histories all crashing into each other at once. From the outside, it may seem random, but when people really start following the patterns, tracking the names, and watching how events overlap, it can start to feel much more connected than many originally realized. And when situations start feeling this layered, public attention only gets stronger. People stop focusing solely on what's being openly said and start paying even closer attention to what isn't being said. Because at this level, silence can carry just as much weight as a direct statement, sometimes even more. For Nia, it reportedly appears her energy has shifted significantly. This no longer looks like the same public approach centered around peace, closure, and simply moving forward. Now the vibe seems more strategic, more protected, more aware of just how quickly circumstances can flip when private matters collide with public exposure. And honestly, that kind of change usually doesn't happen without reason. It often comes from firsthand experience, seeing how fast things can spiral when the wrong information reportedly reaches the wrong space at exactly the wrong time. Meanwhile, Jeezy remains in a position where nearly anything connected to his name can continue resurfacing. Past stories, old narratives, and renewed speculation all keep feeding the cycle. And once that cycle keeps spinning, public pressure rarely fades quietly. Old conversations rarely stay buried when people keep dragging them back into the spotlight. And once public attention locks in, this hard, shaking it off becomes incredibly difficult. No matter how many denials, clarifications, or explanations are made, then you've also got Ime Udoka's name reportedly continuing to surface in the background of these discussions. Even when he isn't directly addressing the situation, his connection to past events keeps pulling him back into the broader conversation. And that alone can keep things from ever fully cooling down, because at this stage, it's reportedly no longer just about one isolated incident. Now it's about layers, timing, overlapping narratives, public curiosity, and how quickly multiple situations can collide and create something much bigger than where it all originally started. Once people begin feeling like there are still unanswered questions or hidden details, they rarely stop there. Instead, they dig deeper. They start asking tougher questions, connecting more dots, building their own theories about what could be happening behind closed doors. That's exactly why this whole situation can still feel wide open instead of fully resolved. Because to many observers, it doesn't seem completely settled yet. There's still visible tension, still lingering speculation, still unanswered questions floating around. And as long as those missing pieces continue fueling curiosity, public attention is likely to stay locked in. There's still that heavy feeling hanging in the air, like something major could drop at any second. And when you combine public pressure, resurfacing rumors, personal history, and non-stop speculation all in one space, it creates a situation where nobody connected can really move freely without intense scrutiny. At this point, it's reportedly becoming less about what already happened and more about what could happen next. Because with this much public attention, this many overlapping narratives, and this level of growing curiosity, it only takes one new detail, one unexpected leak, or one shocking moment for everything to shift all over again. That's exactly why so many people are still paying close attention. They're watching, questioning, and waiting to see what unfolds next, because this story still feels like it could take another dramatic turn at any moment. So stay locked in, because this situation may be far from over. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any new updates as more details unfold. And we'll catch you in the next one.